The content, views, and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and do not necessarily reflect the view and opinions of the City of Bremerton, BCAT, their officials, or their employees.
Hello and welcome to Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight, where both the host and guest are alumni of our local 10-month leadership development course. This program shines a spotlight on just one of the several hundred graduates who have given countless hours of their time and effort to make things happen through leadership. I'm your host, Jennifer Yeaman, class of 2011, and joining me today is Heather Lukashin, class of 2020. Heather, thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you for the invite.
I'm so happy to be speaking with you. So let's start with getting to know you a little bit better. Can you tell us about yourself and your background?
Absolutely. So I'm the Associate Vice President of Student Development and Engagement at Olympic College. And a little bit about my leadership journey as I came to Olympic College as the Director of International Education and Study Abroad. And when I did come to the college, I was finishing up my doctoral degree at University of Washington. And when I finished that, my then boss, Dr. Jennifer Glazier, saw some hidden talent in me and said, you know what, this girl can do more. So she gave me more. And I started overseeing our residence hall and then started reporting directly to our then Vice President, Dr. Damon Bell, who gave me the Multicultural Center as well. So at that point, that Vice President left and we have a new Vice President, Dr. Brendan Taga, who's a wonderful individual, and he saw more talents in me than I had anticipated and gave me more departments until he promoted me to this new position as the AVP, and I kind of oversee the retention pieces of student affairs with my colleague, Dr. Jennifer Glazier. So we're now colleagues, and so we have this wonderful history together, and she sees the enrollment of student affairs and some of the pieces of getting students started. So that's a snippet about what my leadership journey has been like.
No, thank you so much for your work. And I am also alumni of OC, so I appreciate everything that I've gained from having that resource here in our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So you're a proud Leadership Kitsap class of 220 graduate.
I am.
How did you learn about the program and what inspired you to apply to Kitsap, Leadership Kitsap?
Former alumni, Dr. Jennifer Glazier is also alumni of Leadership Kitsap, and David Emmons, who was working at Olympic College as the executive director of the foundation. And at the time I had received the residence hall and was looking into overseeing the Multicultural Center, and it's just a huge community support in the Multicultural Center. And I realized at that time I'd been living in Kitsap County for a while and really didn't know much about it, and so was super excited for the opportunity. And then they told me you have to interview. And so that was scared, and that's when I met Katie Walters, and she's phenomenal. She just made it super easy, and I just remember the excitement of being admitted into the program because I thought it would open different doors for me of learning about the community I love living in. So.
You've mentioned so many leaders, David Edmonds,
Yes.
Katie Walters, and it's great to be part of that, the cadre of leaders.
It really is just very dynamic people that are kind of the movers and shakers here in Bremerton and Silverdale and just basically Kitsap County. Mm-hmm.
So during your time in Leadership Kitsap, what was your personal focus of area of personal leadership focus, and what was your focus of leadership exploration?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Jennifer. So I guess what I was reminded about when I started Leadership Kitsap Leadership.
I keep doing that too. You're good. Leadership Kitsap.
Is in every industry we have an affinity to a good old-fashioned acronym, and we use it. And we think and assume everybody knows it, from healthcare to military. We all use acronyms, and part of my learning was to stop doing that. We assume at Olympic College students know all of these acronyms, and they don't. And being immersed in education, you forget that. And so being in Leadership Kitsap, really finding out what other people do in the community. And you mentioned you're an alumni of Olympic College, how it's so interwoven in all of these industries. And it's really a wonderful reminder of what a training ground Olympic College is for a lot of our communities that surround the college. And I think so my leadership journey was really getting networked and connected with folks of who could help students. And it's a great alumni community. And, you know, with my class or any of the other classes, when I see that they have been through the program, I just let them know that I am an alumni. They don't know me, and they're always so happy to help. And I think it's that camaraderie that is just interwoven in this community. I think part of the leadership, it was positive leadership that was taught in my group, and I don't know if it's still being taught. It's a wonderful curriculum. And I picked up doing things differently or through a different lens. And so I think my leadership journey through the program was to just be open and hear of people's different styles. Like, I'd never heard of this before. We've always done exit interviews, and through listening to how other people do their one-on-ones and their groups, is that they do stay interviews. What makes people stay? And I thought that was brilliant. I'm like, why did I never think of that? And had I not gone through this program, I wouldn't have taken that away. And I do that today. So that's a great tidbit.
No, that is definitely gold. And you talked a lot about networking. The Leadership Kitsap program has monthly themed events that provide the opportunity to network, and they're called Challenge Days.
Yes.
What was your favorite challenge day and why?
Oh, goodness. So living in Kitsap County, we go through and cross a lot of bridges. And I think nothing about it until Challenge Day, when we were looking at local government. And on the news, we hear of bridges collapsing and these other calamities, and I never thought what actually goes into keeping a bridge upright. And during this challenge day, we were so lucky to go to the Department of Transportation, and I got to learn. And so through that process, I always vote yes on the increase of the taxes, because I realized how much really goes into keeping these bridges structurally sound. And that was my aha moment. And the other one was, I know you only asked for one, but there were so many. I'm going to give you a second one. And it was learning the care in which our votes are counted here. The amount of effort and energy and technology. My ballot, I fill it out to vote, I pop it in a collection center, and I didn't think about what happened on the other side and how they match handwriting and the scrutiny they uphold themselves to so that your vote is counted and counted properly. It was a very aha moment as well. I have a lot of respect.
I definitely appreciate all the behind the scenes that we get to see as participants of the program. Yeah, there's a lot. You see what happens on the front, but there's so much that happens in the back.
Right. No, it was great.
Another aspect of the program is the community service project. For your community service project, what was yours and how did it impact the community, or how did it impact yourself?
Yeah, so my class was the class that unfortunately got about 3/4 of the way through when COVID hit. And so we weren't able to actualize the project during our program, but we did actualize it after the program. And it was called Bridging the Gap. And we had a gentleman from Mike who was from the Kitsap Sheriff's Office, myself, someone else from the Sheriff's Office, and from Holly House. And so it was really, really important for us to do kind of something that's educational based. And for Mike, he really wanted to normalize law enforcement for children. So we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club to do afternoon programming for children and have a normal relationship with law enforcement. And so it was police officers and sheriffs coming in plain clothes and playing basketball games and helping children understand that they are people too, and to just kind of destigmatize some of the things going on in our country and to bring a different lens to the law enforcement. And so that was our project.
Well, I still appreciate that so much for both sides. One, again, these are people that support us and they protect us. And like you said, they're also people too. So being able to empathize with them.
And I think it was too great for the law enforcement to interact with children and hear what their worries were and what their concerns were. And I think it just helps on both sides of that learning curve.
Great project.
Yeah. Yes.
So you touched a little bit about the uniqueness of 2020.
Yes.
So some time has passed since your involvement with the program. Were there any other memorable experiences from your time?
Yes, Katie, she's so amazing. So she organized an art scavenger hunt that we could do by ourselves. And it was an app, and we had to go to these various art installations and take pictures of ourselves. And it was kind of a treasure hunt. And I hauled my husband into doing it with me, and we made a day of it. And to this day, I now read placards at art installations because of that experience. And Katie had us going from downtown Bremerton to Silverdale to Paulsbo. And there are some wonderful art installations here that, shame on me, I didn't take notice until the scavenger hunt. And that was such a memorable experience that I still take with me today. And now I actually Google and research various parks and the art installations there and the stories behind them, because they are deeply interwoven with the community, and I hadn't realized that. So just checking my privilege in terms of taking things at face value and not really understanding the why of it. And now I'm more curious and understand the why of it. So I'm very grateful to Katie on that.
Thank you, Katie.
Yes.
In line with thinking about how things change over time, thinking back also to your expertise, what are some key trends or changes in your field that you think current leaders of Kitsap County should be aware of?
Artificial intelligence. It is going to forever change our lives, whether we want it to or not. And in higher education, we are really focused on academic integrity and how to utilize this resource. And because I use it, I've learned to use it, I've learned to embrace it. And I'm a very direct person, Jennifer. And so one of the things I use AI for is when I do an email, I ask ChatGPT to soften my email. And now I'm learning to soften the language myself. So I'm utilizing it as a tool. I think higher ed is really struggling with what to do with this, because we really celebrate critical thinking and critical thought and original thought. And instructors are being challenged at how to interweave this and how to ensure students are utilizing this as a tool and not just writing their paper while, they play a video game or do other things with their time. And because we want our degrees to mean things. And so I think that's a trend that we are going to see in more and more industries and more areas. And what are we going to do with this? So
That is great, and that is gold, and I think that's a great way to end this segment as well.
Great.
Thank you so much for your time, for sharing your expertise and your wisdom, especially for your work at OC. I think I'm a lifelong learner, and I think as leaders, we're lifelong learners.
Yes.
So I appreciate that we have that as a resource here in Kitsap County. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, and thank you for listening to my story. I appreciate that as well.
All right, thank you. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight. If you want to become part of a vibrant team working to build a new and continuing source of fine leaders right here in Kitsap County, reach out to us online at leadershipkitsap.org, on Instagram and Facebook. For the Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight, I'm Jennifer Yeaman. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.